to here with me. I'm just going to start with a few questions. First of all, how long have you been in Ireland?
All my life.
All your life, okay. So you've witnessed a lot of history. Obviously, it was an English colony in the past, and still English policies affect
English
Ireland.
policies for I still do, yeah.
So when Brexit happened, for example, how was your life affected? Did it change in any way?
A little bit, because I have a lot of family over in England, and I'm part of a weird generation because my grandparents are Irish, but technically my parents are British.
Okay.
Because my grandparents worked in England for years. So technically my parents are immigrants. It's this weird kind of catch-22. So I had to apply for an English passport in order just to get free movement. And I have a lot of family over in England.
Yeah.
So there was a thing of like having to get my English passport, which was weird.
So how long have you been living here? All your life?
All my life.
Okay. So you obviously witnessed history going on in Ireland, and Ireland is obviously still influenced by British policies, like Brexit, for example. How was it? What was something significant that changed?
Me myself, because I was a little bit younger. I'm like 20 years now, so I was probably around like 16. So I didn't really see much, but I kind of know it's like my parents talking and all, like just even stuff like in the supermarkets, you see things be hard to get because we get a lot of our kind of like products we get imported from like the UK, so like a lot of these scarce and hard to get on like might be an increase in price, especially even for English owned companies like Marks and Spencer's. They had a shortage of products when you get them.
Yeah, I see. Obviously, immigration is a big part of also Irish history. Do you have family that lives in the UK or even outside of the?
I have family in America, but they are like my aunts and uncles, so like they're already in America before I was born.
Okay, I see. Ireland has a long history of immigration.
We do.
Do you have any other family members outside of Ireland and just Great Britain?
I have some cousins in Canada. I have other family in, I think it's Argentina. I think that's it.
Yeah, those are the the biggest Irish population outside of the English-speaking countries, Argentina. Also, we are in a financial crisis, not in Ireland, it's the world, with the inflated housing market and so on. How would you say like the situation, or the job market, is financial housing changed?
It's funny, I was a student of history, and what I call this is we're almost having a green deal of Ireland 100 years ago, because in the 1920s Ireland saw a terrible housing crisis, and we're starting to see the government go back to the old solution, which is let's stuff everyone into apartments, which they done about 78 years ago. They started all the flat complexes, private mansion, stuff in house, Seagull, all that. And they've been knocking them down the last 20 years because they're outdated, but now they're going for the apartment method. So it's just funny seeing how it's kind of repeating itself. It's a snake eating its own tail.
Yeah, we talked about this with a friend before, but there's obviously a financial crisis going on, not just in Ireland, but around the world, with the inflated housing market and so on. How has that affected this place here, like here in Dublin specifically, I guess? But also
it's very hard. Like me, I'm only 20, so I'm still like studying in college. So I don't really see that much of like the effect. But my girlfriend, she's French. She is like currently trying to get an apartment, and it's very hard. Like, one, the prices are expensive. Luckily, she can afford it. But it's the fact that it'll take time just to get a viewing if you're lucky, and even with the viewing, it's very hard to get the apartment after that. So it's kind of shocking like that.
Yeah. It is not just here, but also in Germany as well. It's very difficult. One last question, just more general. How in the last 5 years, maybe, how have the living standards changed? Like, what is the most significant aspect that has changed in the past 5 years?
In Ireland, probably not much, to be honest. Not that I can see. You see a lot more apartment. No, the one thing I could probably say is there's a lot more student accommodation, and it's overpriced, and it's not exactly what we need. We need actual long-term housing for the homeless crisis, especially with the amount of refugees we're getting in now. So especially Ukraine. So I think that's more serious thing to do instead of student hotels.
Okay, yeah. Our final question will be just now in a recent time frame, how have the living standards changed in the past five to 10 years?
The last 5 to 10 years, easily, I think we've moved more towards IT and technology, and I've seen a lot of people move from sectors that were more manual focused into the IT sector. Now the IT sector is starting to fail a bit in Ireland. You are seeing this kind of, again, this pushback to, we need to get people into apprenticeships. Where 10 years ago was, let's get people out of apprenticeships into colleges. So it's weird. It's just like,
yeah, that's very interesting for me because I also want to study IT. Next year.
The best example I can give is in 1960s, we took away all the tram lines on O'Connell Street because we wanted to modernise Dublin.
Oh.
And then in 2017, we put tram lines on O'Connell Street because we wanted to modernise Dublin.
Okay, well. All right, well, that's it. Thank you very much,
That's
Craig.
no problem, man.
Thank you for that. Yeah. You mentioned immigration. Obviously, it's a very multicultural place here.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think
It's great, like especially because you come to that bar, it's very culture. Like my girlfriend's French, there's Ukrainians, there's a lot of French, a lot of Spanish, everything like so.
Good. All right. Well, thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you for your time.